Hey there, boo-boo. Testing, 1, 2, 3. You gotta get the pips from the pippy basket. I'm smarter than the average bird. We should have sound. We should have 1080p live streaming. No, there's no webcam in the at the moment. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Why do you ask so many questions? Let's start in a few. I just got this up and running. Don't even have my coffee going. It's amazing how quickly you can get a new PC up and running now. It used to take days. All right, cool. Well, at least we got it running. BRB. All right. Hello. All right. Cool. Cool. Neat. Cool beans, eh? Oh, for sure. All right. Trying to mess around with different things. Hey, isn't it amazing? 30 minutes ago, I didn't even have a browser installed on this PC. Now we're up and running live streaming just like everything is normal. How cool is that? So now I just have to spend the next 4 hours turning off all the crap that Microsoft builds that nobody wants. So anyways, how interesting is that? Let me remind you that trading's risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hey, this is me. Good to see you. My name is Wayne McDonald. Wait. Yeah, it's really dark in my office. Doesn't recognize my webcam. So I gotta mess with that, but maybe that's good luck for you. I don't know. So anyways, my name is Wayne McDonald. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com, a boutique foreign exchange trading firm that would like to earn your loyalty and respect through education and positive energy. And a wink and a smile. So today we are going to conduct technical analysis, maybe some fundamental analysis. That's cool. I think we should go through the calendar again. All that kind of stuff. What else? Ask questions, get involved, take notes, treat each other with dignity and respect. And I will do my best to address your needs and your concerns. So this is wonderful. What a wonderful opportunity to start, I don't know, summer, I guess, right? Summer. Right? Summer starting. Yay! So we need to change the style of which we trade. So that's interesting. So I will be here with you all summer long. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Cool. So please visit TradersWay.com and open up a demo account just out of loyalty and respect. If these webinars are something you appreciate, show that appreciation by opening up a demo account at TradersWay.com. So it looks like you see everything here except the webcam. That's pretty good. It seems to be running smoothly. 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. So here's what I did. I downloaded MT4, then I went to metatraders.com, logged in, hit the auto installer, restarted MT4, and this is what it looks like. Literally did that about 9 minutes ago. Isn't that great? Holy smokes. You don't understand. That used to take me a day to get back to that. If that ever happened back in the day, that would take me a full day. So anyways, I am super appreciative of having that tool in my life. I think $5 is too cheap. I'm just trying to get rid of that. All right, so cool. Yeah, your template loader is sick. Thanks, Chuck. That's awesome. Cool. So, anyways, back in beeswax. So, you see these as turns? Oh, you know what? I don't have Epic Pen yet. There's changes in direction which are pretty good, I think. One of them is a yen drop, which I'm happy with. Swissie's neutral, dollar strong. Okay, fine. But notice that we've gone from week to week, right? This was weak, this was weak, this was weak, this was weak, this was weak. And, but these are the things that we are generally trying to buy, and these are the things we're generally trying to sell. So I think it's quite hopeful, anyways, to see that some of these things are doing aight, which might mean a turn in direction. So one of the things we talked about yesterday and on Friday were potential charts showing key technical areas. All right, what is going on in here? All right, let's try this. Tile vertically and drop these into the hour. And they should have pivots. Yeah, there's pivots. So put it back to 4, I guess. You have to kick them when you first install. By kicking them, I mean you just toggle the time frame and it kicks the algos. Oh! I forgot to tell you. So tomorrow's my last day at MIT studying cryptocurrencies, but I already submitted all my homework on Monday. Then I went through and submitted stuff from 3 weeks ago to ensure that I get an A+ in the class, because that's what the Wayne do. So I'm done MIT, but I signed up for a class at Oxford starting tomorrow. So I'm doing the algorithmic trading program at Oxford University starting tomorrow. So today's my day off. Woohoo! Okay. And back to school. So anyways, that's a quick little program, 6-week program. Okay. The indices are in the complete toolkit. You'll see them here. There's 2 versions now. There's one for those that use ECNs and one for those that don't. Cool. Hey, thank you, Daniel. So my mother says I've become a professional student. I'm like, yeah. Okay. So anyways, neat, right? Cool. So let's just go through this quickly here, just realign ourselves. Okay, we can see that this here on Pig Dog was a bottom, came up. If you wanted to be a buyer, this area was the area that you needed to buy. Plan A would look like, I got to readjust everything. Here's how you handle this. First of all, you make it a little thicker, in my opinion, and then you got to go to visualization. No, parameters, and turn ray off. Okay, that's how you handle that. So the idea here, the standard operating procedure for buying off of a bottom, okay, is to wait for the retracement. Plan B is wait for the double bottom. Plan C, get out. Okay. Euro came down a little bit more, but I'm okay with that. Same idea. We're being challenged by the 21. Okay. So this here, if you are a bull, is a potential buying opportunity. And of course, I'm a bull. I was a bull yesterday, the day before, 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 the week before, the week before, the week before, the week before, the month before, the month before, the month before, the month before. So these are great opportunities for those with that type of an opinion. Now, check this out. Equal but opposite but equal. Same idea. Plan A would be a retracement. Plan B would be a double top. Okay. Still kind of dangerous because you're fighting the 21, fighting the 21, fighting the 21. Okay. Yeah, and Swissy doing basically the same thing. Okay. I'm going to get rid of Kiwi and I'm going to make the windows a little bigger. Okay. And compared to these, like here's a tip of the day. Forex tip of the day. If you take a look here, we're kicking off the M1. Here we're basically kicking off S2. Here we're kicking off R2. And here we're way over here, like what is this, M0? Or S3? S3. So here's how you do it. Pound is stronger than Euro and CAD. And Euro and CAD is stronger than Kiwi. Okay, you see that? So it's like a quick relative strength. All right, let's zip over to the yen-yens. Cool. Check the time frame. This is all over the place. Hourly, 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 daily. All right, cool. So now we got our templates. These are all yens, so everything going up is bullish. That's cool. Once again, up, 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 down, down. If you are a bull, you should be looking for buying mode. Euro yen, once again, showing buying mode. Kiwi yen showing buying mode. Okay? And pound, much more difficult to catch because it's just hanging out there. But, right? Or I need to change my template. But the thing is, it's amazing because for bulls, I could see it in some of your eyes last week. I can just sense it, where you were loving life, living large here, and then just got rolled over here, and then probably have missed entries getting back in, versus just looking at what you do as a job and just wait for the next entry. You got to remind yourself in these situations, you know, these types of moves are very much normal. Okay? One of the things I did in the live trading group on Thursday is I said, look, if you were a buyer of cryptos, if you were a buyer of real estate, if you were a buyer of value stocks, if you were a buyer, whatever your thing was 2 weeks ago, you're going to be 2 months from now, right? That's the interesting thing about the Fed policy. It changes nothing. Maybe on the short run, it's an opportunity for those to leave the market that were going to leave the market, but it doesn't change anyone's biases. Okay? So you could see this whole general idea. Wait, I don't have it. I have to go insert shapes. Okay. You know, let me do it this way. Grab that top, grab that. Okay, that's all we have going on. Okay. Okay. Mohammed says it's now full of traps. No, it's not. I never said that. Who said that? I didn't say that, Mohammed. That's nonsense. I'm saying the opposite. All right. So anyways, yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Okay. So these yens really got sold off, right? Cool. Right on. So it's all about planning your next thing. Okay. When you look at this, the market opened at M2. Now, in a falling market, that's important, but not the most important thing. The most important thing is you have to recognize that this dropped like a ton of bricks. Okay. But ultimately, you do have to define where you want to tiptoe back into the trades. And M2 is all good. Okay. What I prefer, because you know, I pointed some of these things out yesterday, but really what I want to point out is that you're waiting for that, or you're waiting for that. Okay? Plan A, plan B. How do you get back in? Are you still a bull? Or is it all over? Okay? So if you're still a bull, you got to climb through this. For some reason, I think of it as chopping wood. Now, I don't know if that's a good example, but it's just hard, steady, unexciting, but dangerous work that simply needs to get done. How do you climb back into these positions? How do you climb back into these portfolios? How do you get back into trading your bias? C. Long says they're seeing another of media sources that are saying the market is in shock due to the Fed. Then stop reading that material. Look, if I talked about what the Fed was going to do in this meeting 1 year ago, then there's no surprise. I don't think anybody was really surprised. Okay? Maybe the journalism major covering it. Okay? I said that the 16th of June was going to be a big day. And there was going to be a key turning point in the year. Boom. Enough said. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so let's take a look at Euro. How else do you climb into this? Well, you can try it through day trading, right? Let's go through some of these templates because I haven't tried them yet. Swing trading, bullish bias. Okay. Okay. Ooh, this one has the automatic trend drawing tool on it. Okay. Part of the complete package. And you'll see that where the weekly pivots are dropping and there's still a negative slope to the mean. Okay. Let's drop into day trading now. Let's try that. Day trading bullish bias. Okay. Once again, still, you know, I tend to think that, you know, being tool based is very difficult in a fundamental and post fundamental move. So you'll see that even daily pivots were not that helpful. You had to have been a buyer because you were ready, willing, and able to be a buyer. You would have used maybe some price action or something else. I don't know. All I'm saying is there's not a perfect trade. The pivot didn't sort of make it easy for you. You had to make the decision. There may be easier trades coming, or compared to other things, there were easier trades, but that's just a trade. Cool. One of the things we've added to the toolkit at metatraders.com are annual pivots, yearly pivot points. So now you have day pivots, biased pivots, swing pivots, which are weekly pivots, monthly pivots, and now annual pivots. What do you think? Okay. So 2020 had a bottom at S1 and a top at R1. Then we are out of position going into January, and we tapped out in May at the M4, which is the counter trend setup. I didn't give you homework, Mr. Kennedy. Mohammed says, is it better to trade session? Mohammed, you sound scared, and I don't mean that in a bad way, okay? Right? But what I'm trying to tell you is these are normal, non-fearful, non-crazy, let's go back to, right? Is this right? Scan dollar? No, I wanted dollar pivots. There's nothing weird or complicated by any of this. And that you shouldn't be walking in to these trades fearful, maybe some trepidation, meaning you're cautiously aware. I think you should be walking through the forest like a hunter, paying attention to the breeze, listening to every little sound, being careful of where you stepped. But you shouldn't be walking through the forest as if you're being hunted. You're the one in control here, and these market conditions are favorable. Okay? Okay? You got that, guys? This is normal. They're kicking off of reversal pivot points with precision here. Look at this, precision. Okay. I would never buy USD Rand for any reason, so I couldn't answer that question. Yes, LIBOR, but it wasn't homework due. It's just this is the stuff that you should be doing. Mr. Kennedy says, Wayne, would you say right now has more predictable short-term trades? No. Okay. What you should be doing is analyzing both fundamentally and technically, in particular on higher time frames, and confirm whether it's plausible, right? Market conditions will turn to favor your bias. Okay? So when you kick off of a pivot, I generally don't buy here because it's a guess. Okay, so you see a beautiful rally, and what you should be doing psychologically is saying, holy crap, that kicked off M1 perfectly, like to the exact pip. That's incredible. And now I see bullish engulfing candles. I will buy a dip. And then you say, well, how do you define a dip? Well, go ahead, define it. That's your job. Okay? And that's that. And you should be RWA, in particular at the London Open, okay, to be a buyer in here. That's what bulls do. Same thing here. You should be ready, willing, and able, in particular at the London Open, to be a buyer. You should be ready, willing, and able to sell. Find, right, this CAD, in particular at the London Open, but also in the New York Open. And then where? Okay, where would you sell? 124s here, 124.50s here. How about that? You mean somebody sold it off the psych level of 124.0000000 after rejecting it at 125.0000000? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. You see? There's what panic? There's no panic at all. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Look at your tools. What are the tools telling you? Projected bottom. What does this tool tell you? Projected bottom. What does this tool tell you? Projected top. Okay? And what does this tell you? Nobody in the world wants to own Kiwi dollar right now. But it's doing what the other things are doing, so it is correlated. Another way of saying that is, yes, the Kiwi dollar sucks, but the general part of our bias is to have US dollar weaken, and it might start weakening. Okay? So that's great if the dollar weakens. No, I have not got there. Okay, I have a request for exotics. Let's do it. Okay. Let's do it. Euro ZAR, USD ZAR, USD peso, lira, peso. I guess we have lots of peso, euro, lira. Well, we don't really do lira anymore, so I'm going to kill lira. I'm going to kill that because we have it down here. And then I'm going to hit this again. All right. All right. All right. All right. So I'm a bear. I only can sell. And luckily, these chart templates are set to be bearish. Cool. So here's what the Wayne do. Okay. Now, this is an emerging market, so I need to be less aggressive. Okay. Need to be less aggressive because they're not followed by as many market participants. Okay. Let's just, before I start drawing, let's start drawing things like this. Like, let's do position trading bearish. Okay, so that tells me to be worried. Template, position trading bearish. Okay. That's interesting. And then we'll do this one. Template, position trading bearish. Give it a kick. Okay. Yeah. Difficult. Difficult. Big moves on these things, right? Okay. So these will, I think what we'll need to see is a couple of things on the exotics. One of them really is true US dollar weakness, which we do not have yet. Okay. Okay. And the second thing is we'll have to see some moves from central banks like the Bank of Mexico to counteract any move potentially by the Federal Reserve. Now, if the Fed starts raising interest rates 2 years from now, within 2 years from now, the Bank of Mexico will need to raise interest rates. I think the Bank of Hungary is raising interest rates today. Does anyone know? Today is June, right? This is it here, right? So I don't know if you want to read this, but I think they were going to, or at least start, talking about raising interest rates. And you're like, hey, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal here is that it's the beginning. Someone is starting to raise interest rates. Okay. So it looks like they're almost at 1%. So 0.3% increase. Cool. Okay. They're not pitchforks, though. Okay, they're not pitchforks. This is a tool, part of the complete package at MetaTraders called automatic trend lines. So this is a combination of, I just included them, monthly pivot points with automatic trend lines. That's all. Okay. But it's not a pitchfork, just to be clear. Okay. I find pitchforks are pretty subjective. Maybe just because I don't know how to use them properly. But this is just, statistical analysis, right? That's your standard y equals mx plus b. So m has a steep slope. Yeah, theta, but theta brings up. So I was saying what theta's saying here. Seems that many are worried about trading right now, and they don't feel confident in their bias. Yes, and that's the biggest danger here, guys. Okay? I kind of said it on Thursday in the live trading group, But the euro dollar dropped a couple of hundred pips, like 230 pips, I think somebody said. And now there's doubt and fear in their trading. Dude, that's nothing. 230 pips is nothing. It's a joke. Now, it's not a joke if you got crushed on it, but you should focus on that. But 230 pips on a euro dollar is nothing. So what I was trying to explain is nobody's actually selling the euro dollar. No one is actually buying the dollar yet, or I can't prove it yet. In the next Commitment to Traders report, we'll go investigate. But here's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Powell came out and said exactly, okay? Well, Charles says that's $2,300 on a standard lot. Well, if you have $23 million in your account, that's not a big deal. Okay? If you have $2,300 in your account, that is a big deal. Maybe you shouldn't be trading lots. But, okay? But here's my point. Here's my belief right now. Powell came out and said exactly what we thought he would say 1 year ago. I literally think there was no new information at all. I even predicted a year ago he would say that they are talking about tapering, and he actually said that word for word. And I'm not a genius, and I do not have a crystal ball. I only listened because he told us that a year ago. It's not even an opinion that I hold. That's what he told me a year ago. Why would it be any different? So again, if you're listening to bloggers and vloggers and media, TV and stuff that are creating the hype, then you need to turn all that off. Just listen to what the FOMC and the Board of Governors tell you. Just listen. You don't need any other interpretation. Okay? So the market did have volatility that lasted 2 whole days. Okay? It dropped essentially a little more than what are they, average daily ranges, ADRs, 2 ADRs. Okay? What that tells me is if it dropped 1,000 pips, something radically had happened, something radically had changed. People were really blindsided by the Fed. Well, by the way, the Fed is so unbelievably transparent, they might actually be too transparent. So nobody's blindsided, guys. This is all nonsense you're hearing from some other source. Okay? No one was blindsided. There was no new information. If there was new information and it was terribly important, you would have had 1,000 pip move, not a 200 pip move. So what is our key takeaway? People went on summer vacation. That's it. They took profit and they went away like we thought. Okay? And by the way, this algorithmic trading program that I'm doing at Oxford, they're starting. Chapter 1 is all on behavioral finance, which you know I love. So I can't wait to see how you can take behavioral finance. So the second part, after you do behavioral finance, they're going to cover like statistical analysis. But where they're getting is artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? The question is, using artificial intelligence, big data, and machine learning, how can you teach a computer behavioral finance so that it could trade financial markets? Isn't that cool? So I'm hoping that we can reverse engineer the human spirit here. If I have to teach a computer the human spirit, it means I have to explore what the human spirit really is, right? Okay, but going back to what I'm saying here, a 200 pip drop on euro dollar is simply people exiting some trades. And they're saying, hey, it was a good first half. That was fantastic. We started long bombing this way back in November. Yeah, there's some dips in January and March, but we as a community, we expected them to happen. We traded through them and it was all great. But generally speaking, we've had some really big trends, right? And we knew June 16th. I literally said, be ready, 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 be ready. This is a key point in time. This is a key point in time. This is the key point in time. Okay? And not for the market to, skyrocket like into the 4th of July. Sometimes that happens, but generally it's more like people are going to go away. That's the message, guys. Write it down. Summer holidays begin right after the Fed meeting in June. People go away. They don't come in. They don't say, well, now that it's July 4th, now I want to drop $1 billion into the market. It doesn't make any sense. People are on holidays. Okay? They got their beautiful people and they've gone to a beautiful location. Okay? But they're not dropping billions in the market. So if anything, the market comes back, but it's not them selling. You have to understand that. They're taking some profit. What are they going to do when they get back from vacation? They're going to do what they do. They're going to trade again. But we already know what they're going to do. Well, how do I know what they're going to do? That's what fundamental analysis is. The entire market was net short dollar, net short Japanese yen, because everyone was trading the reflation trade. The media wants to come out and tell you the Fed is crazy hawkish. The Fed is going to jack up interest rates. The markets are going to fall. The cats are going to live with dogs. No. Go back 1 year and listen to what Jay Powell was saying. And you'll say, oh my God, well, he was actually telling us what he was going to tell us. And now he's telling us that they are talking about tapering, but listen to them. Go back 3 Fed meetings, 6 Fed meetings, and listen to what they were saying. You're like, oh, his tone hasn't changed. Well, I've been fully informed this whole time. Yes, you have. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to be the professional. I want you to be the strong one. Okay? I want you to be ready, willing, and able, and all that kind of stuff. I want you to go through the forest as the hunter, not as the prey. I don't want you to look at this market condition and be fearful. What do you mean fearful? Okay, it just dropped a few hundred pips. Great. Get your game on. Okay? What would you tell a young person you're mentoring, right? A new trader, or even better, if you were to try to teach a computer how to trade, what would those rules of engagement be? Okay? Volume and velocity against your position, get out. But how do you get back in? Okay? This is not a walk away scenario. What do we know? This M3 predicts that M1. Oh my God, that worked perfectly. And you're afraid? Don't be afraid. Is that right, Marina? You were really going to go? Oh, wow. What a bummer. Although, Japan is such a beautiful place. I would never want to go during a time like the Olympics, right? I always just think of tourists and more tourists, and everything's expensive, long lines for everything, and the quality of everything is down, So anyways, I'm sorry to hear your plans. To be honest, though, I don't think it was this spring. I think last spring, my family and I was going to take the kids to see the cherry blossoms in Japan. And then COVID hit, right? And that was over. Forget that. Okay. All right, so let me go back. So Theta says, Wayne, too much short for dollar. Make it a short squeeze. Well, it's not a short squeeze. You got to be careful with the language. A short squeeze is people how do you say, purposely trading against a mass market that has vulnerability. Truly stop hunting. Okay? But you have to understand, though, like that kind of trade, I know they talk about it in the media all the time now, but it's a very specific thing for people that are borrowing stock so that they can short sell. Okay, they literally, you can't sell the stock like we just sell pound dollar, right? They have to go out and borrow the stock from somebody else. Okay? And that creates a certain vulnerability. Okay? And there's an example of that in Billions, okay, where Bobby's short a whole bunch of things, and he has to borrow more and all this kind of stuff. But the long story here is you can't apply that to Forex. You can't apply it to the bond market, like the treasury market. Bloomberg was reporting a couple of weeks ago that it was a short squeeze on 10-year T-notes. Like, that's like the dumbest thing I've heard of. That makes no sense. When someone's going after a multi-trillion-dollar market, like, it doesn't even exist that way. You can hold your 10-year T-note all to maturity and get all your money back. Like, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You're not. So anyways, we got to be very, very, very careful. I'm telling you, turn the TV off. Just stop it. Okay? And don't listen to the get-rich YouTubers, the get-rich-quick YouTubers. I don't know what they say because I don't watch them, but I can't imagine it's helpful. I'm telling you right here and right now that if the world was out of control, we wouldn't see patterns like M3 to M1. Read my book from 12 years ago, and I say, in a normal market, it goes from M3 to M1. Like, dude, look at that. Does that look like chaos and panic? No. No, it does not. Does that look like the end of the world? No, it does not. Okay? So my message to you Friday, my message to you on Monday, and here it is Tuesday. What's the message? Okay? You need to be doing your job now. Okay? If you're still a bull, and again, nothing fundamentally has changed, so I don't know why you'd change your fundamentals. Keep doing what you do. There's no fear. What's your job? What have I taught you to do 1,000,000 times over? Set up your plan A, set up your plan B. Okay? Do you understand? Set up your plan A, set up your plan B. What's your plan A? What's your plan B? I'm not even analyzing the pig here, the Great British Pound. I don't know nothing about that. I'm a seller of the dollar. I'm also the seller of the Japanese yen. Okay? And so I look at these and say, which one is the best opportunity? Which one is not the best opportunity? Okay? What kind of price action can I trade? What kind of, if I buy something, I want to catch it on support. So I start here, first of all. I only draw this to show you the psychology of the trade. Okay. C Long says, hey, what if there was some breaking news? Would it bring back volume? You're not listening. Okay. People have gone away on vacation, or they're planning on going away for vacation, or they understand volume and volatility is drying up and will dry up significantly in the next 2 weeks. Where's the new money going to come from? Okay? It's not a video game. You have to be able to explain to me, where's the new money going to come from? Okay? And what's the propensity for the money to enter the market, or the money to leave the market, or the market just to sit in or the money to just sit in the market? Okay. Okay. So think about it that way. Be able to answer it. Okay. So pound yen. Let's say because of the bounce on other currencies, Somewhere in here, I say, all right, that's cool. This is a line in the sand. Seems to me 5150 is an important number. Great. So I want to buy. How do I buy? Well, you could do really simple things like psych levels. Okay. Let's fatten this sucker up. Okay. How's this going to behave in the future? How's this going to behave in the future? Okay. Start looking at things. How's it going to behave? What key levels will it pay attention to? What we're looking for is higher highs and higher lows. So you can use price action. You can use psych levels. You can use pivot points. You can use moving averages. Okay? But you should not be hiding in your foxhole. In the back of your mind, you should have a platoon leader, maybe a lieutenant screaming at you, fire your weapon, keep shooting, get out of your foxhole, keep going, give it to him. Okay? You can't be hiding in a fetal position in the bottom of your foxhole screaming and crying. Okay? This is your job. Get in the game. Okay? But I must emphasize for the fifth time, there's nothing scary about what's going on. There's nothing wild and crazy. This is not the end of the world. Elon didn't send a tweet and end what you do. Elon tweets, you're rich. Elon tweets, you're broke. Okay. Speaking about that, let's go take a look at Biddy because I bought some Biddy coin. I don't know if I like it anymore. Right? How about some Cardano? I might be doing that before they get the smart contracts out, huh? All right. Check that out. I put this down, this order, a long time ago. Anyways, during this initial drop. So I have a little, these are like for fun. These are like observation trades, right? Okay. There's one at 30. There's one at 25. And I thought there was another one, but maybe it expired on me. So these are observation trades. They're very, very small. Okay. Biddy going back to 20K. Yeah, I get you. I got you. I know it's good. Your rhymes are tight. Okay. Yeah, we're going back to reality, right? Where is it? Do I even see it anymore? I just remember how important 20 was psychologically, but I don't even see it here. Oh, there it is. Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Open don't entity. Yeah. So be interesting. Okay. So anyways, whatever. Here's the thing, like when you see stuff like this, the challenge is that do you believe the utility of Bitcoin, blockchain 1.0? Do you think the utility of it has gone away? Do you think people are going to stop transferring money back and forth? Has the utility gone away? For example, no one's going to use Bitcoin anymore. We're going to, what? Use a different coin? Or blockchain is dead? Well, the one thing we could probably conclude is that Bitcoin was never worth 65. And my fear is this had a lot to do, with Elon pumping all this up, right? Oh, we're going to accept Bitcoin for Teslas. Do you remember that? And then about a week before this collapse, he reported that he made $100 million profit on Bitcoin. And then suddenly he's like, we're not going to accept Bitcoin anymore because of the carbon footprint, which tells you he dumped the shares, or he stumped the coins, made $100 million profit because people they worship him. So he made a quick $100 million, which means all the idiots that worship him transferred their money to Tesla, but they don't own any shares. They just lost their net worth. So now it comes all the way back down. Maybe it's only worth 20. Maybe it's only worth 10. Maybe it's worth 25. Maybe it's worth 30. But we have to go through this price discovery. Okay? We have to go through this price discovery and find out the true value. Also, you have to look at this as blockchain as being the very early days of the internet, where most people don't use it. Most people don't even realize it exists. Some people that have heard about it through the media have been told the wrong things, have been told the hype, have seen the ICO craze and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, I don't get it, but it's a scam and it's weird. But the thing is, what you don't understand, and what I'm starting to learn, is that there's new technologies that are being adopted, and it's growing in maturity as a technology to address things like speed and scalability and all that, and cost and carbon footprint, and that soon things will be built on top of this general technology, what we call a blockchain. And it will become a very important part of what we do. It's going to be a pretty interesting thing. Okay? But what is the value? Well, right now we're in a price discovery mode. And I think a lot of people that have been sucked into degenerate gambling are going to pay the price. Okay? And I've seen it many times before. And I remember one time, right? I remember one time I was going down this street in Portola Valley in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it's one of these things like gated mansions, like estates. Like when you're in Palo Alto, you can have a $10 million house, a $12 million house, a $20 million house. I'm talking about estates, not houses. Beautiful, giant gates, and far off, 1 or 2 acres away from the front gate, is like something beyond a mansion. And I used to get so angry because those people made that money from selling bullshit high-tech startups run by bullshit venture capitalists, right? Hyped up by the bullshit media. And I look at idiot 20-year-old 401k managers investing teacher and fireman retirement accounts into these nonsense stocks. And now that guy, whose company is now worthless, is sitting in his 50 or 60 or $70 million mansion. And he didn't create any value. And it makes me very upset because that's not what the Silicon Valley was about. The entrepreneurial renaissance that I was a part of was wonderful. You wanted to change the world. I don't remember anyone talking about getting rich in the Silicon Valley. Can you imagine that? People were focused on how many days in a row could you work without sleep, not if I get to work for Facebook, how many shares do I get? How many options do I get? How soon can I vest? People never ask those questions. How are we going to change the world, and how soon can I help? Were those questions. So anyways, so now we're in this price discovery mode, and imagine going through the dot-com days and people said, oh, the internet, the whole thing is a scam. Did you see dogfood.com? Did you see all those IPOs? And do you see almost all those IPOs are now worthless? The whole internet is a scam. I'm going to go back to writing things on a piece of paper, and I'm going to mail letters to my friends and family. We're going to have memos on our desks every morning when you get to work. Okay? So, this is cool, but this is blockchain 1.0. But here's the thing, because of the network effect, it's likely to be here a very, very long time. It just wasn't worth 65,000. Okay? So, do you believe in the technology? Do you believe in this as a currency, as a coin, as a store of asset, as something that appreciates because of market risk sentiment and stuff? Well, if the answer to is yes, I'd say between now and September you'll be a buyer. And then you're like, but Wayne, what about today? What about in the next 20 minutes? Should I be a buyer now in the next 20 minutes? I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. Make a decision. Okay. So there's our biddy anyways. Okay. Let's add to this. Let's not do silver. Okay. Brent is 75, by the way. Let us Ethereum Classic. I don't even know why you'd want Ethereum Classic. Dash, Litecoin. Am I missing it? XRP, no. Zcash, no. Dash. Oh, it's up here. Okay. So again, this is an observation trade. They're tiny, 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 tiny trades. But I want to have focal points for us. Okay. So there's one at 2,000. There's another one at 1,500, and there's another one at 1,000. Okay. So this isn't about being right. They're more like observation levels. I'm trying to view the psychology of the market, and these are like testing points, if you will. Okay. Okay, but interesting, right? Somebody was buying it for 4,000. It's now 1,700, huh? Okay. Zigzag says it's how it behaves when you look at the long-term chart for Bitcoin. Well, again, we're in a price discovery mode. Okay? So technology still needs to be added to cryptocurrencies in such a way that it can be more useful. And if anything, if the utility of Bitcoin hasn't gone away or is over. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Okay. then instead I want you to think about crypto in general in a sense that over the next 5 and 10 years, the technology will improve in such a way where Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will have more utility than it offers now. It'll be easier to buy. It'll be easier to spend. It'll be easier to sell. There'll be less costs. But the issue right now with the technology is it can only handle 4 transactions per second. Did you know that? 4. Okay. Okay, 4. How many transactions does Visa alone handle? 20,000. So if you were going to be able to spend, okay, if you were going to be able to spend Bitcoin like as easy as using your credit card, well, it has to be settled quickly, and you have to do more than 4 transactions a second. And what's the cost of a transaction if you're just buying a $2 latte, a $3 latte? They're like, well, it's going to take 10 minutes to confirm the transaction, so please wait over there. And the cost of the transaction is going to be super high. I mean, like this idea, like you go to the ATM, you withdraw $20, and they charge you $2.50 to withdraw $20 from the ATM. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Well, what if using crypto was like that, where you go to Starbucks, you're like, yeah, I'll take a latte. I want to pay with crypto. And they're like, well, it's going to take 10 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 3 hours. Oh, and by the way, it's going to cost you a lot on the transaction. You're like, okay. So things need to be done. And what you can do is you can build different blockchains that use different methods. You can build on top of blockchains. You can build next to blockchains and all that kind of stuff. And humanity's going to figure out how to use the technology. Bitcoin was built only to be Bitcoin, and it's very, very, very good at what it was designed to do. But the future is going to be really amazing as the internet has really become amazing. Okay. Okay. And if you're in the real estate business, get ready, man. If you're a lawyer, so here's what I see. When you go to law school, you will learn programming because you will be designing smart contracts, right? And as a banker, a financier, and such, as a CFO, as an accountant, you might be someone that programs money, programmable money. Okay. Alex has used other coins, right, for transactions. Well, that's on its way for sure. But I think what'll happen is there's going to be a shakedown of probably less than 5 cryptocurrencies that I mean like truly currency. But I think the currency part of blockchain is tiny. Right? And that blockchain can do a lot more and provide a lot of very interesting technologies that will aid us in many different ways. But anyways, cool. So once again, let me go through this thought process. If you don't believe the utility of Bitcoin has changed, meaning like something has happened and now Bitcoin's worthless, then this is a price discovery process of what was it actually worth. It was worth $65,000 when people were buying it because Elon Musk told them. Okay. Now Elon's not pumping it up, and there's some challenges with with China and stuff, but whatever. Doesn't change the technology. Okay. But Zigzag says loves Bitcoin. I would say Bitcoin will always be around because it's Bitcoin. And if you got to move $1 million, it's a great way to do it. In many transactions, like institutional investors that, let's say, might want to use Bitcoin to buy Apple stock, they won't want the transparency that the Bitcoin blockchain offers. They'll want some opaqueness. So now you have to say, well, how do you do that? Because remember, everything is transparent on the blockchain. Everyone can see what everyone else has done, including how much Bitcoin you had and how much you got back. And there's a lot of stuff there, right? But also, it's not fast enough to do a $2 trade. Okay? So it's like it's not scalable and it's overly transparent. There's a lot of transactions that don't need that level of security. They don't need that level of transparency. They don't, right? That kind of stuff. Okay? Theta says, so define the fair value of coins. The market has to determine that based on supply and demand. Okay? So somebody I know from the Forex world has created a way that you can spend your cryptocurrencies like a credit card, but it's even better than that, right? Where, let's say you're at Starbucks and you order a coffee, and you put your credit card into the machine and it says, are you willing to pay $2.85 for the drink? And you're like, yes. So you approve that. And then your phone goes bzzz, and you lift your phone up and it says, all right, do you validate this $2.85 purchase? Yes. Would you like to pay for it with your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Dogecoin, whatever, right? Do you want to pay? Which one do you want to use? I'll pay with my Doge. Boom. Done. So that's cool. Now, if that type of technology takes over, then what you'll see is additional utility to Bitcoin, additional utility to Doge, right? For example, if you can use it and spend it anywhere, then there'll be more use for it, you see? And therefore, if there's more use, there's more demand. If there's more demand, there's likely to be a higher price if there's a capped number of supply, right? I mean, if supply is always moving with demand, then you'll never change the price. Zigzag says a fold card allows you to earn crypto. Well, it's probably staking, right? But anyways, cool. So it's the thought process that I'm trying to get through to you guys. If Bitcoin is dead, why is it dead? If it's still the future, why is it the future? But more importantly, what prices do you buy? Okay. Ethereum is blockchain 2.0. Now there's Ethereum 2.0 coming out, but really there's even other technologies that are better than Ethereum now. And so there's sort of blockchain 3.0 around the corner, because Bitcoin and Ethereum both use miners that go through with a proof of work process that's very expensive in the terms of energy and time, right? And the next wave will be on a proof of stake model, which will be faster, cheaper, and there's no mining. So you don't have, there's almost no environmental cost. Cool. Anyways, let's we did some yens. We did a lot already. We did that. We did that. We did that. All right. Well, let's take a look at gold anyways. Yeah, Cardano is interesting for sure. No, well, Kevin, I think because it's only a 6-week course, um, it taught me enough where if I want to continue exploring, I will continue exploring. But I am not um, an expert in cryptocurrencies. I have passed the course, I think. I haven't been given my certificate yet. It doesn't even technically end until tomorrow, but I submitted and resubmitted all my homework. I'm done, right? Um, but like, so here's like reading. Here's some of the reading that you would do in 1 week. Oh, I don't have a camera, but you'd have to see this, like 100-page. I read a lot of white papers and stuff. The scalability trilemma in blockchain, for example. So I know more than I did 6 weeks ago, for sure. And if I want to continue the journey of exploration, maybe I can. So it's more of a starting point, right? But Cardano, for example, Pete brings up, uses proof of stake and is about to release it, the ability to write smart contracts on top of it. And that could be very, very interesting. And a lot of people call it the Ethereum killer. So, yeah. And you can still buy it for $1.50, right? So that's pretty cool too. Yeah, Hope is exactly right. The price is what someone is willing to pay for it. And also what some people are willing to sell. Because if you remember, like during the housing crisis, you may have seen like, some sellers just never selling because they're holding on to what they thought the price is. And often it's because how much they owe the bank. So they're like, I won't sell this for less than $1 million. And you're like, dude, it's not even worth 600. What are you talking about? Right. Alex says, yeah, I've heard the story of Ethereum killer a few times. Well, we'll see when the smart contract comes out later this year. Right. Yes, cryptos are complicated, but the thing is, think of it as, like I was saying before, the early days of the Silicon Valley, right? Where someone is telling you, well, you can, with a keyboard and mouse, looking at a screen that just shows you text, you can send little messages to people anywhere in the world. But almost nobody has an email address. And you're like, well, some geek at another university has an email address. You could send him a message. You're like, why would I want to do that? Oh, well, and you can also like read message boards and write to message boards. You're like, why would I want to do that? I'm going to go watch TV, right? 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 I'm going to watch the football game. And like the idea of doing a lot of these things was pretty primitive. And you had to have expensive computers, and then you had to have dial-up internet access. And so you had to buy that, and then you had to pay a monthly fee. And for a lot of people, it just like they didn't really get it. Like, and then I still remember when, Windows, I guess Windows, even before then, 3.0, I think it was, Windows came out and was totally copied Apple, for example, but they came out and they had a pretty decent operating system. And then I remember Windows 95 coming out, which was definitely a ripoff of Apple. I do not like Bill Gates, by the way. I don't think Microsoft has done anything good. But anyways, people had these really amazing machines that were at that point quite powerful, and you could connect to the internet, and there were software applications that were really kind of powerful, and there were search engines. You could go to Google, you could go to, Ask Jeeves, right? I remember writing to Mozilla and stuff. Like, there were interesting things that you could do. And then I saw people that were workers in the Silicon Valley that simply used it to play solitaire. And I'm like, and now fast forward another 30 years, what do we do with our internet 2.0, where everyone's got giga speed and we got computers in our pocket with high resolution screens and super fast processors and amazing laptops and amazing tablets and amazing machines. And what do? We post inspirational posts to LinkedIn and pictures of our dog on Facebook. And it's right. It's a bit of a waste of what we could be doing. But ultimately, what's happened is the underlying technology got so good, and there were so many ideas compounded on one on top of another, it got to a point where it was useful to everybody. Okay? I remember a guy in India was at a red light and traffic's going by, and this guy had a donkey and a homemade flatbed. It was it was great. It was just two tires with a wooden thing that he had made on top of the axle, and somehow it just balanced perfectly. And he didn't even have a seat. He didn't even make a seat. He was just squatting at one end. And it's being pulled by a donkey, not a horse, not a tractor, not a truck. So he's got a donkey. He's got this axle with two wheels. He's made a flatbed. And on the flatbed, someone's paid him to deliver a refrigerator. So there he is, the refrigerator on the back of this balanced seesaw that we call a flatbed trailer, right? He's taken the axles off of a broken vehicle, right? And he's squatting because he doesn't even have a chair. He's being pulled by a donkey. He's probably getting paid $3 to deliver this thing, but he had an iPhone. You could see it. He was holding an iPhone in one hand, and he had at that time it was the corded ears, right? But he had the earpieces in, and he had an iPhone. And I said, that's it. He's got nothing in this world. Doesn't even have a chair to sit on, but he's got an Apple iPhone. Okay? It's cheap, it's easy, it's accessible, it's useful, but you have to understand the 30 years that went into that, making that happen. And we will get there with crypto for sure, but it'll be used in different ways. Okay. One of the mistakes that I've made in my life, and I've made a few, I was hired by the South Korean government. I went in, I did keynote speeches, the president of Korea, the president's translator, right? The president of Korea's translator translated my speech about venture capital and all. I remember talking about the overhang and dry powder and all this kind of stuff to a big audience of high-tech CEOs and all that kind of stuff. And then I went on and I consulted with 7 or 8 of the high-tech startups that I went to meet. I saw the early days of Bluetooth there. They called it CDMA over TDMA, which is really cool. He's like, watch, I can connect to this peripheral over there using this, technology. Another technology I saw was cameras and video screens on cell phones. And I remember thinking that was stupid. And at the time it was stupid. The refresh rate on the screens was pathetic. Okay. It would beat so that you could barely watch anything, right? Right? And the camera, you'd take a picture, you'd look at it, and it'll look like Minecraft. And I remember writing in my report that it didn't make sense to me that you'd have a TV and a camera on your phone. I'm like, you don't need that. Well, what I should have said is, with such a low refresh screen and low resolution camera, these technologies need to develop further, and one day could be incredibly important. If you can get it to work, it will be amazing. Okay? And that's we're not even close to that point with blockchain, where so I guess if you have a math kid, if one of your children is sort of a math programmer kind of person, get them to start learning, blockchain. And the cool thing is, if they learn how to code, they might become a lawyer. Pretty neat, right? All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Would you please click the like button? I know I've been babbling today. I'm just super happy that we got A, the market's back, and B, I got my machine up and running. Okay. Alex says it's got to synergize with other technologies, and it absolutely will. So right now, it's sort of like what people are doing. If you want to think about a company that has an intranet, there's no way for outside people outside the company, to access the information and communicate with the people inside that intranet. So IBM has its own intranet, right? Google has its own intranet. Facebook has its own intranet. Apple has, every company has its own intranet. But it'll be interesting where, right? So one coin is one thing, another coin is another thing, another coin is another thing. They don't talk to each other. They don't play well with each other. They don't connect to each other. Right? And so we're going to figure out how to add this technology to that technology, to this network, to that network, right? Things that sit on the chains, things that are on the side of the chain, but all using the same general underlying tech, right? So it will get there. It'll be very interesting. Okay. Cool. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you.